Well, it sounds like something out of a horror story. Children living in a sewer system. Utility workers in Washington state say that may be a reality there. Rob Munoz has this story.
Prying off an 80-pound manhole cover, Lake Haven Utility District workers were shocked to see what they found 14 feet down.
When they looked inside, they saw clothes and toys and some food and other miscellaneous stuff.
Included in that miscellaneous stuff was a makeshift bed made out of plywood. And nearby, 2 12 to 13-year-old boys were spotted, and Miller says one of them indicated he was staying down there. That's when workers told him about methane gas and vermin they frequently encounter.
No one should be down there without protective equipment on.
On top of that, the air is limited that far down, he says, and a car parked on top could have had them trapped. Neighbors say they noticed the manhole cover slightly ajar for at least the past month, but are still shocked to hear the details.
I can't even imagine anyone sleeping or living in a manhole and not being aware that that was happening.
Another says her family saw kids running back and forth as recent as yesterday.
The other one came out and the other one stayed inside. But I don't know what they're doing inside.
The clothes, the food, the toys, and bed have since been cleaned out, and the boys haven't been seen since. Miller says that shock factor of kids possibly living in a manhole won't go away soon.
I've been doing this kind of work for over 30 years, and I've never come across it before.
Wow, well, Miller says all of the items discovered in that manhole have since been removed. Switched at birth, it's a real thing, and 2 men from the same remote community in Canada discovered it happened to them. This is the second time in less than a year this has happened in Canada, and it's raising some questions there. In November, 2 men who are close friends discovered they were switched at birth back in 1975. Both cases happening at the government-run Norway House Hospital in Manitoba.
It's fundamentally important that we understand how this could have happened at the time.
The first time could be discounted as a mistake. A second time, in my view, is a criminal activity.
An independent party will investigate hospital records and look into whether there are other cases of babies switched at birth there. And 2 sinkholes have shut down part of a major highway in Florida. You can see them in this video. Officials say a water main break opened up the sinkholes on Florida's Turnpike in Miami Gardens. The sinkholes popped up just a few feet from each other. The Florida Highway Patrol says no one was hurt, but troopers had to close the southbound lanes of the highway. The closure created traffic problems for drivers heading south. There's still no word on when the highway could reopen. And an emotional reunion for family and friends of 65 National Guard soldiers. The group was deployed to Kuwait and Afghanistan and had been away for almost a year. For some, the wait was worth it, never forgetting the support they got when they were away. Now they're able to be back home and squeeze their loved ones.
I had tons of support back home the whole time, friends and family, looking over my house, looking after my son, stuff like that, sports and all that, so it all went real smooth back home.
Extremely thrilled and excited because it's talking somebody through, a screen is very different than actually being able to hold them or kiss them or just be in their presence.
The soldiers adding the support from their loved ones back home really helped them get through those hard months away.
Well, there's lots to talk about in the world of weather here across Southwest Florida, but we'll start out with the good news. How it all played out for today and your weekend in general. Pretty nice out there, lots of sunshine at the beaches to start. Yeah, it was hot at times. Yeah, we saw some periods of rain, but all in all, pretty typical summertime stuff here. But as we look ahead to the coming days, we're going to be talking about our weather being influenced by what is Tropical Depression 9, formerly known as Invest 99. Of course, the system we've been talking about for quite some time. Before I break that down a little bit more for you, I want to give you a general scope of what we're talking about in the tropics. Lots of tropics troubles out there. Gaston, of course, you remember, now a major hurricane, Cat 3, if you could believe it. But this will stay well out into the open waters of the Atlantic. No problem for us. Closer to the Carolinas, watching Tropical Depression 8. This is about 400 or so miles out there just to the east of the Carolinas. Maybe a rainmaker for them. No trouble for us. closer to home, of course, we've got Tropical Depression 9 that is looking a little bit more organized out there, but still a very messy system that continues to spin out there just near the Florida Keys, just north of Cuba. And you can see where this thing is tracking is further towards the west. And that's what more of the models are starting to suggest. Hurricane Hunter planes were out there today flying through their pattern that they typically do, trying to gather data that helps forecasters make predictions on what we could expect this thing to turn out to be. They're finding winds 35 miles per hour. That's enough to upgrade it to tropical depression. Of course, when we start to see those winds up to about 39, that's when we start to call this thing a tropical storm. And that is expected to be the case as we work ahead towards Wednesday. You can see National Hurricane Center forecast calling this about a 40-mile-per-hour system. So some strengthening is possible as we work ahead towards the coming days, particularly Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, as this thing really begins to cook in the Gulf of Mexico before it takes that northeasterly track. And you can see when that happens, still lots of questions, as you can see with this huge cone of uncertainty by the end of the week. But what we know here across Southwest Florida is that this will be a rainmaker for us. Some of you asking, how much rain are we talking about? Most of the models projecting anywhere from about 3 to 5 inches. This is through Wednesday, so you can see much of the higher accumulations will be south of the I-4, so closer to South Florida. And then as we work ahead towards the end of the week, that'll start to shift a little bit more to North Florida. So for folks who may have planes out towards Orlando, Jacksonville, closer towards the end of the work week, you'll want to pay attention to that. Here's how it looks on Storm Shield Doppler radar now. Mostly dry, but there are some showers and thunderstorms back out towards the east. These will try to make their way a little bit closer to us. Not expecting a whole lot, but I can't rule out a few isolated showers heading into the overnight hours. Then for your Monday, we'll see lots of clouds around. Temperatures will be kept a little bit lower by that. Average is about 92. So I think with more clouds around and those showers coming early and often, that will make it a little bit of a cooler day out there. Their Storm Shield forecast, some showers popping up early in the morning. That'll be possible for the morning commute. Then as we get into the 1, 2, 3 o'clock time frame, we will see periods of showers and thunderstorms that could be on the heavier side as well. So you'll want to plan for the rain tomorrow. Make sure you got the rain gear on hand. The kids are good to go as well. Looks like rain chances will be highest Monday and Tuesday of the week. That's when I think storms will be most likely. We will eventually make our way back to a more typical summertime setup here as we work towards the end of the week with temperatures climbing back to about 90 degrees by Friday. Lisa.
Thank you, Tony. And remember, 4 in Your Corner is your source for complete weather coverage. Just download our Storm Shield 4 mobile app for push alerts and up-to-date information about weather conditions in your area. And coming up next on Fox 4 News at 10, police video that has the town talking how a house search led to an 84-year-old woman taking action against the police department. But first, cake controversy, where this Ken doll cake has some people seeing red. That's next on Fox 4 News at 10.